Okay, people ask me what I thought about Edge's retirement, and I want to let it sit in and kind of marinate for a little while. Because normally when I do these videos, it's because someone has died or they had a huge storyline left to their retirement. You know, like a Shawn Michaels retirement or Ric Flair's retirement, where there was an angle going up into it, and the person was kind of like, I'm done wrestling. It's different when it's someone who's, definitely injury related. So I actually hit Wikipedia real quick, and I was like, I know Edge has won an insane amount of championships. And actually, here's right here as 31. Four-time WWE champion, seven-time World Heavyweight champion, five-time Intercontinental champion, one-time U.S. champion, 14-time tag champ, 12 times World Tag Champ, and two-time WWE Tag Champ. And he is only of two wrestlers, Kurt Angle will be the other one, who has held every currently active male championship in the WWE. Of course, depending on when that actually was done, the unified belts, of course, are a conglomeration of the two previous championships, so technically he did hold those belts. Beyond that, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble. At this time, he is the only person who's been able to do that. We've had Rumble winners, we've had King of the Ring winners, but never a King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, and Royal Rumble. And notice how Money in the Bank has now been pushed from a huge event at WrestleMania to being its own pay-per-view. The difference is, one was the co-branded. So he actually has had an absolutely amazing career. Some people have said he's probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I don't know if I can give him that accolade. I'd probably say if you think, like post-Attitude Era, yes. Would I put Edge in the same category as like Sting, Flair, Piper, Hogan? No. The list of, like greatest of all time, depending on how far out you go, would he probably be in the top like 25? Yeah, I could see that. Top 5? Probably not. He didn't have an absolutely amazing career. It was very much truncated. Most people said that when it came to being able to surpass Ric Flair's 16-time championship, your best bet was going to be Edge. With how often Edge, changed the belt back between him and Cena, it was probably really, really close. If Edge could have wrestled probably maybe 4 more years, he probably would have had 16 to 17, world championship reigns. That being said, his career was undeniably plagued by injuries. He had a very, very stiff style. Most reasons people really loved him was because he did have an absolute all-or-nothing style. Was it high on risk-taking? Depends on what you mean. I mean, if you look at the active when he speared people like Jeff Hardy off of, anything hanging in the air, you're jumping head and shoulders first at somebody and then driving them down to the ground. I was at WrestleMania when he took on Mick Foley, and he then dove through the ring ropes, and went headfirst into a flaming table. Yes, whenever he did a spear, he more or less went, head and shoulder carrying a body through a table. I mean, that's a very, very hard style, especially when you realize he had severe neck injuries. And a lot of his career was undeniably plagued by massive injuries. I remember when he came back from, I want to say it was a leg injury. I don't think he broke his forearm. So he wrestled for a while, trying to do face on Raw with, like an arm cast. He always seemed to have some sort of, slight injury. But it never held him back in the ring. He always went 100% in the ring. That was a really good hard style. But he also technically wrestled too. When he had feuds with people like Benoit, Jericho, and even Austin to an extent, as well as Angle, he showed he had a really great technical skill. So he had a really good, strong brawling style, as well as some high flying, and some technical skill. It's hard to actually combine all of those styles to be successful. As had been said, what really cemented him was the TLC matches, and him and Edge and Christian. The Edge Christian Hardy Boy match at, I want to say it was No Mercy, the Terry Invitational Tournament. was an absolutely epic match. I don't think he had a bad TLC match, period. You know, when it was him and Christian, even when they're part of the Brood, they were pretty good. But when Edge and Christian became like bizarre super faces, you know, for the benefit of those who flash photography, that time, all right, they were so ridiculously over. Or doing the Conquistadors. You know, Edge has had an absolutely undeniably long career. You know, he has accomplished virtually everything. He's main event at WrestleMania. He's winning the Undertaker at WrestleMania. You know, he's won every single belt except in the Divas belt. You know, he was never I think he was never a hardcore champion. You know, probably the only one that ever actually elude him throughout his career in the E. You know, I mean, he had fantastic feuds with people like Guerrero. You know, they had an absolutely phenomenal ladder match. Great feuds against Christian. It's hard to not look past the feud that he had with Matt Hardy, when he kind of cheated on his wife with Lita, which led to, you know, a really phenomenal feud there, which really cemented Edge as a fantastic heel. You know, when he teamed up with Eddie Guerrero, with Vicky Guerrero, and you know, had like it was him, Chavo, Riders and Hawkins. You know, and he pretty much run roughshod over SmackDown as a fantastic heel. And also he became, you know, an over-the-top babyface. So he works as probably one of the greatest because, you know, he falls in that category because he's actually he was successful heel, successful face. Some people couldn't actually do both. So yeah, he is one of the greatest. You know, I probably see he's in the top 25. That having been said, his style of wrestling is what actually led his popularity and also truncated his career. It would have been great to have seen Edge and Christian become unified tag champs. Oh yeah, that would have been amazing. Do I wish I could have seen Edge have a better feud with CM Punk? Oh, of course. Edge, John Morrison. Oh yeah. Do I think a good feud between, I'll just say, Edge and Shawn Michaels? You know, rated RKO, really didn't get to go that far because of H's injury. Do I think a good feud between H and Edge would have been fantastic? Oh yeah, of course. There were a lot of great feuds that never got time to get around with them. I think even now, Edge and Orton would have been a phenomenal feud. So he'll definitely be best in the ring. Of course, I mentioned he can't be an active participant in the ring. Would I like to see him becoming a road agent? If his body can handle it, he's got a lot of information he could share to younger wrestlers. You know, his career had ups, it had downs. It was a very complete career. I mean, he got to do a live sex act. He got to host his own sort of, you know, vignette TV shows. If there was something to be done in the E, chances are pretty good Edge either did it or he was part of it. So it is sad to see his career come to an end like this. He got to come to an end as a champion. But you know, like Edge said when he did his retirement speech, he's leaving on his own terms, the way he did his career. So, you know, it does suck to see that he's injured, but looking back, he had an absolutely phenomenal run. Nothing to be ashamed of. Thank you, Edge.